Hey everyone, this is Laura Gadenik with Laura Gadenik Astrology, and I'm here to give you the astrology for the week of March 1st through the 7th, 2021. Starting on Monday, today, the moon is in Libra, which is a really nice place for the moon to be because she's making a trine aspect to all the planets in Aquarius. And yeah, it should just be a really lovely, social, connective, relationship-focused time overall. Um, any disagreements, it's a good day to smooth them out and, keep the peace and make sure everyone's understood, etc. The moon does move into Scorpio on Tuesday, March 2nd, which is an inherently uncomfortable place for the moon to be. The moon likes to be comfortable and is very peacekeeping and wants to be nourished. And Scorpio is a dark place in the zodiac. It's the time of year where things are going to seed in the Northern Hemisphere. It's about death and rebirth, digging beneath what's underneath the surface. Not only that, but when the moon's in Scorpio, she'll be making an opposition to Uranus and Taurus, which can just feel a bit anxious. Could be some subtle surprises, some unexpected things revealed. But moon in Scorpio, even though it's uncomfortable, it's always about feeling the things that we need to feel that may have been swept under the rug, ignored, or not, we haven't been aware of it. It hasn't been present in our consciousness. And so while it's uncomfortable, it's important for healing. It's important to feel, process, and know things that are uncomfortable, and also maybe even to grieve. So that is Tuesday. Wednesday is really the big day this week. We have Mars finally moving into the sign of Gemini, and Mars will be here until April 24th. Now, this is really nice for Mars because Mars has been in Taurus for the past 6 weeks or so, in a sign that Mars feels really uncomfortable in. If you have Mars in Taurus natally in your chart, you might even you might have felt familiar with that feeling that we've had for the past 6 weeks, excuse me, which has been about slowly grinding towards something or for something, or working really hard or having to sustain something that's been frustrating or that's been just challenging, hard, slow, arduous. I know for me, I've been doing contact tracing for the past 2 months or so, which has been a desk job, and I've had to sit 8 hours a day, and it's been way different than my normal lifestyle. And it's really, really hard. Um, but yeah, so the past couple, since January 6th, which is when Mars moved into Taurus, it's been this kind of frustrating, how long is this going to last? Like, I just need to push through this experience. That's been the kind of the vibe. And also, Taurus is a sign a lot about security. Um, and Mars and Taurus so if you have this in your natal chart, you might feel this might be familiar to you as well. This kind of anxiety around if you're safe or if you're secure enough, or, do you have enough cameras around? Are you locking all your doors? There might be this kind of anxiousness about security, needing to have cameras around to make sure you're safe, locking doors, there's this real anxiousness around safety. Um, and that's just kind of a Mars in Taurus thing. And so there's this sense of feeling motivated by safety and also by being comfortable. Mars is a sign about being comfortable, about wealth, about really taking care of your body and your physical life, materiality. So it's really nice to have Mars move out of Taurus and into Gemini, and Gemini is a totally different vibe. But another reason that this is really great is because this is probably the first time in like 9 months or so, I believe, that Mars hasn't been or isn't in a whole sign square aspect to Saturn. So remember, basically, like since September, I think, of 2020, Mars was in Aries, making a whole sign square to Saturn and Capricorn because Saturn had moved back into Capricorn. Um, and then Mars retrograded in Aries, and we had like two squares to Saturn and also Pluto. And then, Saturn moved into Aquarius in December, and then come January, Mars moved into Taurus. So it's kind of like that square vibe continued for the next couple months. So it's really been like 9 months of this kind of sense of grinding towards something and it being just hard, and there being challenges along the way. Mars wants to go, 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 and wants to take initiative and do things. And it's kind of this like, let's go right now, this anxious, like impatience. And it drives us. But Saturn is this planet about patience and slowing down and really following the rules and being diligent. So Saturn has been holding Mars back. So I mean, wherever this has been for you in your chart, that's where that would show kind of what these difficulties have been for you. But overall, for everyone, this Mars Saturn square between Saturn in Capricorn and Mars in Aries, and then Saturn moving to Aquarius and Mars moving into Taurus, it's lasted about 9 months, and it's been really hard. There've been hard lessons. There's been, disappointments probably. You've probably come across barriers to doing what you want. Yeah, it's been tough. And so with Mars moving into Gemini, now Mars is going to be forming a whole sign trine to Saturn. So this is a kind of a breath of fresh air. This is a huge relief. Finally, our efforts are paying off. And that's really what this is kind of reflecting. So, Mars and Gemini. Gemini is a sign about the mind. Gemini is an air sign. It's about communication, conversation. It's about, it can indicate sibling relationships or kind of the neighborhood. It's kind of this sign that's associated with jumping around to different like social groups. It's a very much so a social butterfly. And Gemini is a really objective, logical sign as well. So that's why Gemini is known for having a lot of perspectives and being able to hold many perspectives at once. So Mars and Gemini, Mars is this fiery, fast planet, and with it in Gemini ruling over the mind, our mental activities may be quickened, enhanced. There could be increased usage of social media, so be mindful of your boundaries and how much you are on it. I know I definitely need to do that. There's more of a verbal punch while Mars is in Gemini, just kind of being more forthright with your words. I actually have Mars and Gemini natally in my chart, so I'm really familiar with this energy as well. So yeah, we're moving from this like frustrated energy to it being dispersed. Communications might be enhanced. You might be more talkative, more expressive. Obviously, whatever house has Gemini on the cusp, that house will be highlighted and will have more action associated with it. It'll be more active. Also, Mars and Gemini can be very scattered. Gemini is a mutable sign, meaning it's the end of a season. It's the end of spring. Any mutable sign can be, it's very flexible, adaptable, and able to do a lot of things, but also can be very scattering and unfocused. So be mindful of getting involved in too many things, spreading yourself too thin, exhausting yourself, and starting projects that you can't finish. Mars and Gemini gets bored very quickly. Mars and Gemini needs a lot of mental stimulation, mental activity. And so doing some calming things like meditation would be helpful, breath work, these things that will help calm the nervous system because Mars and Gemini can be overly anxious and activated. And in Gemini in general is a sign that can get pretty bored, like immediately. So there can be like a short attention span associated with Gemini. So, you know, thoughts might be very quick for you. You can probably, there's probably a shift in being able to do things a little faster than you normally do. Um, Obviously, if you have Mars and Gemini natally like me, this is your Mars return. So you're very familiar with this energy, you're used to it, and it's going to be just vamped up. Yeah, you may dabble in new things that you're curious about. You may make decisions more rapidly. Be careful of doing it impulsively. And you might just want something different. You might want change. Once again, there's that boredom quality, that need for stimulation. So, yeah, it'll be new energy. I think it's going to be good, especially because Mars doesn't like being in Taurus. And so I think, yeah, that sense of frustration or whatever you've had to work hard at, grind away at, that is finally coming to a close. And we can actually start to enjoy the fruits of our labor with Mars and Gemini making that trine to Saturn. It's kind of like suddenly everything that you've been working so hard at and maybe a new skill you've been learning suddenly starts flowing and coming easier. So, and I know for me, I have been working on this horoscope writing project for the past 9 months, basically. And it's been the most arduous, long, challenging, just kind of like I wanted to just hit my head against a wall type of process for me. And I finished my last horoscope this a couple days ago and it just flowed. And Mars isn't even out of Taurus yet, but still it's kind of nearing that. So anyway, that's one example. The same day, Wednesday the 3rd, Venus is sextiling Uranus. Now, Venus is about love, relationships, beauty, pleasures, and sextile to Uranus is going to be an easy day to change things up with your sweetheart if you are in a relationship. It'll be easier to break the routine, and in fact, I would recommend it. Do something different. As always, Uranus is about breaking norms. It might be about your style or how you express yourself outwardly with how you look, your hair, um, you know, tattoos, jewelry, piercings, all sorts of stuff. So do something different or new with your style, or maybe do something different or unique with art. Starting a new art project or a new medium that you haven't explored before. So that's Wednesday the 3rd. Thursday the 4th, we have the final conjunction between Mercury and Jupiter. So this is the third conjunction. And so there's been two more, right? Because Mercury it was, moving forwards and then it moved backwards during the retrograde station or retrograde period and then is moving forwards again. So this is going to be associated with some good news of some kind or some good fortune. Mercury is all about messages and news and communications, and Jupiter is one of the most benefic planets that we have. So, thinking back to January 11th, which is when the first time that Mercury passed over Jupiter, and February 14th, which is when Mercury retrograded and conjoined Jupiter. What was happening around those times? What were you thinking about, exploring? What was going on? It might even be helpful to like look in your calendar, look through text during that time period, maybe look through a journal if you keep one. What were you thinking about exploring during that time? And this last conjunction may have something to do with that, and probably does. It can be really subtle, and it's hard to always remember, which is why it's helpful to document your life, which is what I tend to do. So yeah, positive news. Also, in general, this is going to be a time of having a positive mindset, having a more expansive mindset, a very generous mindset, generosity of mind. You might have an interest in broader subjects like culture, religion. Um, let's see. Yeah, so that's a really lovely aspect. And the reason it's also going to be positive news is because while these two are conjoining, they're also recently the morning star, meaning the sun just passed over them. So they're kind of ahead of the sun. So that's always kind of associated with something coming to light, something manifesting in some way. Um, bringing something good, especially if it's a benefic. Maybe if it was a malefic planet, it wouldn't be so good. But anyway, so yeah, that's Thursday the 4th. And then Friday the 5th, we have the moon in Sagittarius, which is this sense of expansiveness, hopefulness, maybe this need for adventure. The moon is the mood of the day. Not a big deal. It passes through all of the signs throughout a month. So this is the second quarter moon. So there is this moment of shifting from, well, I mean, really the shift happened after the full moon. Now we're like heading towards the new moon, but this is kind of more of a dramatic shift of things becoming quieter because the moon is losing her light and starting to become dark again. So quieting down a bit, losing light, but also this kind of hope or this sense of adventure. It should be a fun day. So, yeah, that is the astrology of the week. I'd love to hear your thoughts, how this is playing out in your life and your chart. If you know your chart, I'm always open for consultation. So please reach out at Laura Gadenick. Sorry, no, it's a consultation at lauragadenick.com, or you can check out my website, lauragadenick.com. And I hope you have a great week, and I'll be back next week with another update. Okay, bye.